Hi nerds, I'm Presley.
And I'm Meredith.
Welcome to Nerd Chat, a podcast where nerds chat. So today is a very special episode. Not only is it episode official number 1 for Nerd Chat podcast, but it's also a very near and dear topic to my heart.
You guys, today we're going to be reviewing a new app, a game.
It's taken the world by storm.
It really became an overnight sensation for nerds and non-nerds alike.
Yeah, it's definitely something that a lot of people can bite into, much to my chagrin.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon.
That's right, guys. Today we are officially reviewing Pokemon Go.
And I just want to warn everyone before we get too deep into this episode that I'm going to be hot. And I know that we have marked some, our show is explicit and last episode was explicit, but we didn't really say anything bad. This time it will be, so just fly. Just to get that right out of the way.
It's okay. I want this to be a podcast that's really accessible to all people. So if you were in a coma
Okay.
and you missed the last week,
Right.
or maybe you live in the woods and you don't use the internet,
Right. Okay.
and you just learned what a podcast was and you went with Nerd Chat, first of all,
the best podcast.
yeah, great decision. Second of all, let's give a little background on what exactly Pokemon Go is.
Okay, so Pokemon Go is a game released by Niantic Game Studios.
Please make note, Niantic is not Nintendo.
Nor is it Game Freak, the original producers of the original Pokemon.
And then Nintendo licensed it and created a game after that.
Yes. Yep. So it was created by this. They've created another similar game that was equally inscrutable several years ago called Ingress for Google. It was created by Google using their own proprietary software. And Pokemon Go is essentially a geo-based game where you are in real time an avatar exploring the real world, and your movement and actions affect the game landscape, so to speak. So you walk around as a Pokemon trainer, and as you walk around in the various areas of, say, your neighborhood or, downtown,
The
and wherever
world.
you live,
The whole world.
anywhere, Pokemon can appear, which, as a Pokemon lover, really gets my blood pumping. It's very good, exciting.
I mean,
Cool.
To take Pokemon and
Yeah.
to insert them into our real life, our real physical space.
It's what Pokemon nerds have wanted forever.
So true.
And so that's the basic premise. And you tap on this Pokemon as it appears near you. It appears in like a radius that you exist in. And you can hold up your phone and see the Pokemon in real time in AR, augmented reality. So it will use your camera and you'll see that Bulbasaur or whatever sitting in the middle of the sidewalk staring at you. And at the bottom of the screen, you have a Pokeball, which you take with your finger and flick it towards the Pokemon
To catch it.
You
guys, Pokemon is the slogan is gotta catch 'em all.
Right.
So we're taking this age-old Pokemon idea, gotta catch 'em all, and we are bringing it to the streets.
Exactly. Literally. And So you flick the Pokeball at the Pokemon. You have to hit it with the Pokeball, which is
We're gonna
cover
talk
it,
about
that. Then you have a chance of capturing it, much like in any Pokemon game where it'll wiggle for a second and then it'll like either escape or say you got it. And then you will enter it in your Pokedex. If it's a new Pokemon, you'll inventory it into your current Pokemon. You can store a finite number and then expand if you'd like that. And then you can catch a ton of multiples of Pokemon, and they all have their own unique value called CP, which is essentially how powerful they are. The higher the number, the more likely they are to beat other Pokemon. So you take the Pokemon that you capture, and you then can go around to one of two locations that are geolocations in the real world. One are called Pokestops, which are just general landmarks. They're kind of ambiguous what they are because like you'll walk around and think something should be a Pokespot because it's like an iconic landmark, but it won't be. It'll be like 3 feet away. It'll be like this plaque that's next to it, which I always think is funny.
Or a bench.
Or a bench.
There are
Yeah,
a lot of benches.
There's tons of things that I don't think that there's a distinct lack of them, but you go around and then you open it up if it's inside this radius that you occupy, and you spin the little picture tile that it has on it with its name, and you get Pokeballs and a few other items, eggs you can get, and some other like more rare items that do different things for you. And then the second type of stop is a Poke gym, a gym, where you can quote unquote battle Pokemon. And so one of the things that you do once you've reached level 5, you're allowed to enter the gyms.
Okay. I think that again, right now we're speaking to the uninitiated because if you are a fan, if you're someone who has downloaded and played Pokemon Go, this is all obvious to you. You've lived this.
Yeah.
But right now, I just want to speak to those members of our listening audience who have never heard of this.
Maybe stumbled upon this episode of the podcast thinking about like, what is Pokemon Go? I don't get it.
Or, again, you were in a coma, you've just been awakened, you have no idea what's going on in popular culture. Here's how I would sum it up.
Okay, please.
That was a thorough description of the gameplay and
yeah, there's a couple
what
of the
it's
things that we
like.
didn't gloss over, but that's core what it is.
How I would explain to the uninitiated is that it's a way to get Pokemon nerds to exercise.
I mean, it's
It's
what it is.
bringing physical fitness to Pokemon fans who, since Pokemon's release, have not been outdoors.
Yeah, so like for instance, I'll be in my room, and there are a few Pokestops close to me, but none that I can access from my room. And there are Pokemon that will very occasionally appear next to me in my room, just like right when I launch the app. But in order to catch Pokemon, I do need to leave my bed, which
Take steps, walk outside, walk for miles.
And like same with you get these eggs and you incubate them, and the only way to hatch the eggs, it's not a time incubator as like 95% of similar mechanics are in mobile games, where you start the incubation process for like 10 hours and then you get whatever it is. It's by distance in kilometers, but it doesn't track you via GPS. It tracks you by your internal phone pedometer. So there's like really no way to cheat it. Like you just have to go walk with the phone in your hand.
You guys, once again, it is a way to get nerds to exercise.
And to be fair, it is doing that. Because we were walking along Pearl Street in Boulder yesterday, and I had Pokemon Go out just because we were there. I wasn't there to play Pokemon Go, but I had it out just for shits and giggles.
Not that you wouldn't have gone.
Oh
to
no, I'm
play
gonna go
Pokemon
tomorrow
Go.
probably and play some Pokemon Go on Pearl Street because there's some great Pokestops. There's a gym or two, wild Pokemon to catch. But I passed at least 10 people in groups and solo also doing the exact same thing I was doing. I do not think those people would have been there otherwise.
What I want to, before we really dive into this,
Really tear it
just in
apart.
our intro, I am.
Our 10-minute long intro.
We have a lot to say on this topic. I am shocked at what a phenomenon this is.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it. And so what happened was it came out last Friday or last Thursday? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
This game came out last Wednesday. And I texted Presso because we had talked about reviewing Pokemon Go for our podcast.
We didn't think it was going to come out until the end of July. We thought we were going to have a few more episodes out before.
And I texted him and I said, it's out. We both need to download it because we're going to talk about it on the podcast.
Yep.
And on that Wednesday, I had no idea that this was on so many people's radar. Did you know that it was going to be such a big phenomenon?
I'd been tracking it for not a year. Whenever the first kind of leaked images had come out, where the leaked images are identical to what we have currently. No joke. Like you can find like if you Google leaked Pokemon Go images, you'll find like an AR Squirtle photo.
Yeah, well,
like
that's
that.
because they haven't developed it since then.
Right.
We'll get into that.
So, yeah, it's been on my radar for like, I would say at least 6 months to a year. I don't know when that date came out, and I'm not good with it. But ever since Nintendo came out with a conference saying that they were going to release iOS games and Android games, like Miitomo, and now coming up, there's going to be an Animal Crossing game and a Fire Emblem game. We had known that there was going to be a Pokemon game.
So I've been in since I downloaded it. I've been in California, in LA, and in Colorado, and I'm blown away by the number of people I see playing it.
Yeah.
The people in front of me on the plane, I saw they're doing meetups all in cities all over where people are coming together and playing it. Everywhere we went, there have been Poké stops. So when we had discussed doing this podcast, it did not occur to me that we would even have to touch on what a cultural phenomenon it
I
is.
knew a lot of people would play it, but the statistics that I'm seeing now of the number of players honestly shocked me, especially once I had it in my hands.
Right. And I see like it's all over Instagram. People are talking about Snap. All my social media is blowing up with Pokemon Go, whereas I thought, I was one of the first to download it, so
Yeah.
I thought I'd be an early adopter, but it's really taken off so quickly.
Okay, so now that we've covered all the general stuff that's going on with Pokemon Go,
Yeah,
we got to really get into what we think about the game.
This is our review. So that was your background. That's if you did fall into a coma and you've somehow missed that this huge cultural phenomenon is taking place, now you know about it, and we're here to tell you what we think about it. We have played the game for many hours at this point, and here's our sort of biased.
I mean, yeah, we didn't go into it with really I had expectations, but you did not. I don't think.
Well, I have my, we all have a background with Pokemon, however we were exposed to it in the past. It's not like it's a new IP where we're having to learn all characters. We know the Pokemon, we watched the anime, we played the card game, all to various levels. So we're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So we all come in with that bias. So I knew I would have an opinion and I'd have favorite Pokemon and whatever. But I didn't know anything about the game. It wasn't until
you didn't know core gameplay mechanics the same way I had.
It wasn't until. May I start?
Yeah, go.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I thought first when I downloaded the game. So I saw on a blog that I read that it had been. I was the one who told you that it was available for download.
I was refreshing my feed, but I was in the middle of a family reunion, so I couldn't actively check it as much as I wanted to. But yes, you were the initial person that told me.
It came out in Australia first, and you told me that. But then I saw that it had been released, and I immediately sent it to you. I said, let's download it. So I downloaded it in my apartment. We weren't together. And my first thought, the first thing I wrote down, why do I have to leave my apartment to play this?
Yeah. I think that was about 100% of people's initial reaction.
If you don't know anything and you're like, oh, I'm going to check out this new Pokemon game, and it's like basically a fancy pedometer.
It's a glorified pedometer because, Pokemon has always been handheld. There are a few console Pokemon games, of course, but it's always been on your Game Boy or your DS. And so you don't need to go anywhere to play it. You go places in the game.
You hide in your closet because people have made fun of you
for playing Pokemon. And now it's a
And-
cool thing to do.
Oh.
Once again, the cool nerds coming back at you. But yeah, like the idea of like having to walk 30 blocks to find that one Pokemon that you've been looking for that everyone's tweeting about is frankly ludicrous.
Okay, well, the idea that I would. So it was evening when I found out. I'd already eaten dinner. I had already, the sun was almost.
You were packing for a trip
completely-
that you
I
were
was
going on?
packing. The sun was down. I live in LA, right in West Hollywood. It's busy. I don't want to.
People don't walk around.
I mean, I do walk around.
Yeah,
a
you know what I
lot,
mean? Like,
but
no one's
I
going to
was-
go out in
It's
the
not
night.
like in the evening.
Yeah.
I was prepared. Oh, I'm gonna have to leave. That was you guys. I am one of the laziest people, maybe ever.
Yeah. So
So it was. So Presso, my co-host of this podcast, has been very excited about this game.
yeah, I was looking forward to it.
You walk much less than I do in the day-to-day.
I mean, yeah, like when I'm at college, I walk around a lot more because I'm going between my classes.
But in general, I walk more
you're
than
the
you
more
do.
active of the two of us in terms of walking to
And
places and doing things like
so it was interesting that as soon as we downloaded the app, my first instinct as someone who likes to walk was, I'm not leaving my apartment for this. And you immediately, when you downloaded it, you went and you walked around and you checked into places and you were getting
did,
Pokemon.
yeah.
And the competitive side of me was like, what the hell?
that. Yeah, you lit up. You were like, you already have these Pokemon? What's going on?
And I was like, I'm not going to leave to get the Pokemon, but I'm pissed that you did.
Right.
So that was my initial reaction. Tell me about like your initial, what was it like for you on your end when you downloaded it?
Oh my God. So, okay. I was in the mall with the family and we had all split up to go shopping and I was on my own. And I got your text in the middle of a very fun store that I should have spent more time in and enjoyed.
What was the store?
It was like a weird like mind game store.
Okay.
It just had a lot of fun, weird things that I enjoy. But I got your text. And I'm like, hey, I'm gone. And so I walked outside to one of like the little couches that they have there and like tried to log in because you can log
Okay.
in via two ways. There's either a Google login or you can use your like Gmail account, or there's a Nintendo Link account, which is like people have been making a lot recently because they've been giving away exclusive Pokemon to people that are members that you can download onto your various devices. Like they give away Mew and, some of the like really cool ones for
Mew.
to become a member. But I was there and I spent the remainder of my time at the mall, a good 40 minutes, just trying to log into the game.
You guys, I feel like now is a good time to bring up what a pain it was to try to even sign up for this.
Yeah. So it's easy enough. You click the Google thing and it takes you to one of those Google login pages. Type in your username and password. And then it will load for about 5 to 10 seconds. And then it will give you a crash report that says the servers are unable to be reached. And
Right. The servers are busy right now.
there's
And-
no way to go back. There's nothing you can do. You just have to close the app and try again.
And, this comes at various stages. Like maybe you're in the middle of creating your avatar, like it got to.
I couldn't even log in.
I was creating my avatar like several times, several iterations, making my screen name, and then it wouldn't let me like go to the point. Or I'd try to catch my first Pokemon because at the beginning, as is I believe traditional in Pokemon games, you sort of get a choice.
Yeah,
Do
you
you
get
want to
one of
go
three.
Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charizard? Charmander. Excuse
Oh my
me.
God.
I corrected
Kidding.
myself. Whew, I'm sweating. I'm like, when you talk to like a real Pokemon fan, it's like, don't mess up.
But okay, so you had those issues. I got on and was able to make my avatar and go into the game. But then you get to the next hurdle of the infinite hurdle set that is Pokemon Go. And that is to understand what the fuck you're supposed to do. Because the tutorial is probably 2 very small word bubbles from the new professor that they've introduced.
Yeah, what's Professor
I don't know if he has a name. Everyone's
he
calling
has
him
a name.
Professor Sexy and or Professor Fuckable because he's like the most attractive professor. I'm not.
Presto says everybody. He means he.
No, if you like Google it, like you'll see like whole blogs and news stories about this one professor.
He can get it for sure. I'm not. If you're listening, Professor, I love you.
But so he does not give you any guidance.
Right. So when I finally get in here, I see my avatar that I, tried to create 5 times.
And they let you pick a few color clothing options, which you
that
can
you
no
can
longer
never change.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I hope you like what you picked, guys.
Yeah, because I made a
stuck
mistake
with it.
and it's there forever.
Forever.
The nice yellow visor.
You cannot be proud of that.
Nope, I am not.
Oh, God. So I see my avatar standing at I know the map of the area I live in, standing where my apartment is. And I'm like, this is not fun.
And it's not like there's a lot of Pokemon immediately in your vicinity.
Well, so quickly, we have to tell our audience what Pokemon we chose.
Because it's the best Pokemon. It's number 1 in the Pokedex. It's Bulbasaur. Go big or go home. All the other Pokemon can go die. Never mind. It's always Bulbasaur. It's always been Bulbasaur. He's
always
number 1 in the
gonna be
Pokedex for a reason, because he is the number 1 Pokemon. Please go ahead and tell us what you picked.
Team Squirtle.
Yeah.
I am firmly Team Squirtle. He's by far the cutest of the initial 3. Bulbasaur is the least cute of the initial 3.
Bulbasaur gets so much shit, and I'm so done with the Bulbasaur shit.
Everyone picked Bulbasaur.
Do you know that Nintendo did a survey on Twitter?
Okay.
Asked people which of the 3 starters they picked.
Okay, Nintendo didn't even make this game, so why are they tweeting?
Made the property.
I get it.
It's
I
not
get
about,
it, but
it wasn't. It was pre-Pokemon Go.
They couldn't have. Okay, so I work in the entertainment industry, and so one thing that I know for a fact is that the title credits of a movie, of a TV show, of a video game are heavily negotiated.
Okay.
So I am a little bit surprised that Nintendo did not get a title card. That to me,
I don't get it. I think I honestly think that they approached Niantic with this. They made this whole thing, and then they saw it.
If they had approached Niantic,
and they're like, you can keep the IP, but we don't want our name on it. There is their name on it when you see the opening screen, but it's small.
Oh, is it beneath Niantic?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's when you're trying to log in, it does say Nintendo and it does say Game Freak.
Okay. That makes me feel better. Anyway, so tell me about the Twitter poll.
So they did a poll, and Bulbasaur came out about 25% of people, and Charmander and Squirtle were dead tied for the remaining 75%. I think Charmander was up by 1%.
That's what's up.
So I'm just saying, if it's 25 to whatever half of 75 is, I'm great at math. 35, more than that. I'm bad at math. 30. If it's 37 and 38 and 25, that's a discrepancy. Statistically, if they were all equally liked, it would be 33, 33, 33, but it's clearly not that. So Bulbasaur gets the most flack, so I don't want to hear it.
Well, okay, what I was hearing, I didn't see the poll, but what I was hearing was everyone was picking Bulbasaur.
Also, they do not explain that you are picking one of the 3 when you're initially catching them.
Because you see all 3,
All 3 of
and
them
you're
pop
like,
up.
dang, I'm so good at this game.
Yeah.
I can get Bulbasaur and Squirtle and Charmander. Luckily, you had already been through it, so you had already told me, you pick one.
Yep.
And I knew, since Squirtle's the cutest, I definitely wanted him in my Pokedex.
Okay, so then we got our starting Pokemon, and they just push you square into the deep end full of sharks because they give you no more instructions.
Good luck. I'm using air quotes, guys. Playing the game.
Yeah, so that's all it was. So you walk around, you find these Pokemon, and they appear, and you tap on Pokemon. Sometimes multiple will appear at once, and you gotta kind of choose. But you can sometimes catch them all when they all appear. And then you flick the Pokeballs at them, which is probably one of the single worst game mechanics I've ever used in my entire life.
Because it makes no sense? Or why?
Okay, let's break it down, because when I've been talking a lot about this with other people who have no idea what Pokemon is. And I go, if you even have the loosest idea of what Pokemon is, you know that there are kind of like 3 core gameplay mechanics.
And this is important. This is really the core of how Presley feels about this game.
So there's finding and battling Pokemon, right?
You fight them.
Yeah, you have a Pokemon and you either encounter a wild one or a trainer and you battle them for superiority and money. And
points and collecting Pokemon. So that's true in the card game. That's true in the video game. That's
not
just
true
the
in the
core.
card game. Well, it's true battling.
Yes,
in
you
the card
battle.
game. Yeah.
You battle. That's
not
the
4
core
things.
tenet of the card game is you battle them.
Okay. Never mind, that was my bad. It's core to literally every Pokemon game minus Pokemon Snap, which is the rare exception to how good a game can be and totally depart from its core game mechanic. But then there's the second aspect, which is going to gyms and battling trainers for badges, right? Which is, again, in the battling vein, but it's unique because the whole idea is you get your 8 badges and then you battle the big 4 and you're the best Pokemon trainer in that region. That's the whole concept. That's the story of Pokemon. And then the third is trading Pokemon. It was a core in literally every single Pokemon game ever. There are certain Pokemon you cannot get unless you trade with people. For instance, you cannot get Alakazam without trading a Kazam with your friend, because when you trade it, it evolves. Same with Gengar. You have to trade a Haunter, and it evolves into Gengar. You have to do it.
I mean, that was such a important component of having the cards.
Yeah.
Was, when you got that holographic card.
It's a trading card game.
You knew that was going to get you, some real good shit, whatever you wanted. That last, Eevee evolution that you really needed. You needed, the electric Eevee to complete your collection. If you had that whatever.
Yeah, it's just okay, so those are the 3 game mechanics. And it really is like Niantic sat down with Pokemon and they were discussing making a mobile Pokemon game. And they're like, what game elements should we keep and what should we take? And then another guy's like, well, why don't we take out the good ones?
Right.
And then give it to people. And they're like,
we'll just
that's a great idea, Bob. And they said it sarcastically, but then they thought it was actually what they were doing. And then they made that game because that's Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go is Pokemon without all of the fun components.
So the closest you come to ever fighting Pokemon, quote unquote, again, using air quotes in a podcast, really cool, is when you go to a gym to battle one of the Pokemon that's been at the gym. You leave your Pokemon at gyms as you leave because you're not going to stay in the radius of the gym for the rest of your life because that's insane. And so if you beat that Pokemon, you then capture the gym. And then you can put a Pokemon in there. And in order to beat the Pokemon, you engage in a battle, which you then see the other person's Pokemon, and you can see their CP, how strong they are relative to your own Pokemon, and you get to choose which one you battle with it with. And then in order to win, you need to tap the other person's Pokemon rapidly, trying to decrease their health, while you also swipe your Pokemon away in either direction to try and avoid the hits from the opponent's Pokemon, which is very, very close to the farthest way you can play Pokemon. Because, Pokemon is a very turn-based game, and this is, the least turn-based thing I've ever seen in my life. It's, the most chaotic, tap, 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 move, tap, tap. Oh, my God, I lost. Damn it. What the fuck is going on?
Okay, guys.
Which you have no experience, and you have to be level 5 to get to any gym.
Okay, let me back up.
Okay.
Full disclosure.
I'm getting on my ranting mode.
No, that's good. You should. We have a lot to say. Full disclosure. I am a level 4. I'm midway through level 4, so I am not a level 5. So I haven't yet been to a gym.
Nope.
And, okay, I'll tell you the reason why I'm not a level 5 yet in just a second. But hearing this description of what it is to battle, as someone who hasn't done it, it's basically incoherent.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense.
And okay, one last thing that we didn't cover in the core mechanics is once you become a level 5, you have to pick one of 3 factions to join.
Oh, Jesus.
Which I don't even think you knew about.
I had no clue.
So you pick one of 3, essentially colors. So the 3 factions are Instinct, Mythic, and Valor. and each one's based upon one of the 3 legendary Pokemon in the original Pokemon that aren't Mew or Mewtwo, that are Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. So each team is just a color. It's yellow, blue, or red, in that order corresponding to Instinct, Mystic, and Valor.
So Instinct
is yellow, Mythic is blue, and Valor is red.
And you chose
Valor because I like red better than yellow or blue.
Okay.
That's like literally
you pick a color, basically.
You pick a color, but you're locked in. There's no going back. There's a few points of no return at Pokemon Go. When you choose your username, locked in forever. When you choose
what your avatar is wearing.
What your avatar is wearing, no going back. When
Yellow visor for life.
And when you choose your team, there are some others, but they're just as stupid.
Oh, starting Pokemon, too.
Well, yeah, but you can get the other 2 starters easily enough if you walk around. It's not like other games where you pick one and then you're not going to find the other 2 Pokemon for the rest of the game, right? Except in Pokemon Yellow. But so you pick one of those 3, and then capturing a gym is essentially just capturing it for your color. So you can go to a gym that is of your own color and just insert a Pokemon into it, and it becomes like enters the ranks, so to speak. So then people have to fight more Pokemon to capture it for their color. Or you can go to another color's gym and try and capture it where you have to battle up the ranks, right? And there's like a king of each gym that is just the highest ranked Pokemon there.
Right. You became one.
I was, but for like 10 minutes. But we were in California, and there was a gym on Balboa Island that I captured for 10 seconds. And then you leave, and then the gym gets overthrown, and there's nothing you can do. I can't go back to, it's not like I can manually go there.
So you can't like do anything in the gym unless you're nearby?
Yep.
Then how do you battle?
You don't battle with anyone. Here's the thing: is Pokemon has always been, while it is like a single player campaign, like where it's just you traveling along with your Pokemon trying to be the very best, there has been social elements, trading, communicating, collecting Pokemon, right? Completing the Pokedex, stuff like that. And Pokemon Go is very much against that. They really don't want you to know that you have any friends.
Right, because
other players don't appear. You can't actively engage with other players in literally any way.
And that, we've been together pretty much since we downloaded the games. Yep. And you wouldn't have known it for Pokemon Go.
We're both standing next to each other looking at our phone screens trying to catch the exact same Pokemon at the same time.
And failing because the mechanism in which you're trying to fling Pokeballs is garbage.
It's really bad.
If you are listening, Niantic, my
fix your shit.
I have a lot to say to you, but first and foremost, could you please make it so when I flick the Pokeball, it catches something?
So there's a certain skill to it. So this is something that they absolutely never. I've watched the secondary tutorial 10 times for research.
And who released the secondary tutorial?
No. I'm saying if you go into the settings, there's an info tab where it will run through all of the info. That is substantially more robust than even the intro to the game is.
That would help.
Exactly. It should just play that. But then there's nothing ever said about the mechanic of catching Pokemon. That you're supposed to flick the Pokeballs, but there's a circle that appears around the face of each Pokemon. And if you hold the Pokeball, this green or yellow or red circle will slowly enclose on them. And you want that circle to be as small as possible when you hit them with the Pokeball to increase the capture chance, something that is inexplicably never told to any person.
And you said that to me, and I've tried that. That doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm not good at video games, so I understand if maybe it's a subtlety that I don't quite understand.
Nope. So Pokemon at its core was if you found a wild Pokemon, you weaken it with your own Pokemon until it's weak enough to capture. You throw a Pokeball, you have a chance of getting it. And then if you get it, you put it in your bag or your PC and it's yours, or it escapes and you try again until it runs away or something, or you make it faint. There's none of that here. You battle a Pokemon until it either runs away or goes away, but there's no way to hurt it or make it more catchable. Only that single circle mechanic that is poor.
And by the way, you everyone knows that you flick the Pokeball at it. I until my brother told me that you, Flick It, was attempting to drag and drop.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. Yeah, so like even that.
So I was
it's not
taking
well
the Pokeball,
explained.
trying to drag it onto the, and I was like, well, it's okay. So I just really quickly want to point out, you guys are listening to this podcast, you're thinking, okay, well, this bitch, like, even though she's reviewing Pokemon Go, she's not even a level 5. So
She's
like
not
what
level
kind of
5.
authority does she have to speak on this topic? I wanted to make it very clear that the reason I am not a level 5, if you have children listening, now would be a good time to get them to cover their ears.
I mean, I've already said the F word several times, but go ahead.
This game is glitchy as fuck.
Yeah, it's really, really temperamental. You have to have literally the best signal on the planet to get it to function like even slightly coherently. And like it doesn't function well in Wi-Fi conditions. Like we have good Wi-Fi at the house, and like I'll connect to it and I'll be like GPS location not found
That
because
fucking white Pokeball in the upper left corner, infinitely spinning,
yeah,
as
there's a
though it
loading
were
Pokeball.
loading, but you know it's not going to.
Yep.
You know
And then
that it's just gonna glitch. You're gonna have to manually quit out
and then try and log back in
and
while the servers are
re-sign
overloaded.
it. Presso, how many times have you re-signed into this game?
So I tracked in the first 24 hours, literally I looked at the time that I downloaded it, and from the time that I downloaded it to the time it was 24 hours past, I got in and kicked off 8 times. And probably, like, this is not an exaggeration. I'm not trying to inflame it or anything. I guarantee I at least put in my username and password for the Google entry at least 100 times.
It's ridiculous.
Like that is not me trying to inflame it or be any more than it is. Like 100 is a fairly reasonable estimate.
If
for
you've
the number
played
of
this
times.
game, you know.
Yep, you've been
I-
kicked off at least 3 times at this point.
3?
I said at least.
3 per hour, I think, is a gooder.
Yep.
3
More good.
per hour is a good barometer of how much you leave. You have to leave the game because it doesn't effing load.
And also, one of the very important things is that it does not load in the background either. The only way that you can play this game is while it is open on your phone. Even if you leave the app open and then close, like lock your screen, ceases to function.
So this means if you are a person like me who cannot get their iPhone battery to last an entire day,
You're done.
you're just adding something to drain the battery.
Yep. And it's completely location based, which is the thing that drains your battery the most. So you can't close it. So like all day today, for instance, I was walking around with my iPhone open to Pokemon Go so I could try and get my eggs to hatch because I need it open in my hand in order for it to track the distance I'm going.
And how long did your battery last?
I mean, I charged it during the day, so I couldn't tell you. But
Okay.
like I was at 30% by like 3.
And we're not even, so Presso and I both have unlimited data.
Yeah.
Which most people or many people do not have. So we're not even going to touch on the fact that this is like a data gobbler.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the data usage. Is it bad?
I haven't looked at the exact data usage, but like it's probably not good.
Yeah. I mean, it
Cons-
takes a lot.
It doesn't run in the background, like you
No.
said. Like it's not like it'd be one thing if maybe you walked around and you didn't have it open,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you opened it, it was like, wow, you walked all these places. Like here are all the Pokemon you missed. You know, like
yeah, or
that'd
even
be
if you're walking
great.
around and there's a Pokemon that appears, it's like a wild Caterpie appeared. That would be
A
cool.
notification. You
Yeah,
know, like
there's no notifications.
open your Pokemon Go app and
'Cause-
see what's happening.
Yeah.
See, that's what I need because I have ADD. Literally.
No, yeah, you take medication for it.
I am diagnosed with ADD. So I get very easily distracted. So Presso he's been much more diligent about the gameplay. I get a Snapchat or get a text message or see a cute guy walking
And
by.
Pokemon ceases to exist.
And there's no
Literally.
Pokemon.
And I would just like to point out when we're talking about no Pokemon, we were up in the mountains today in the middle of a very robust forest. One Ash Ketchum can only dream of in the anime, where literally Pokemon should be frolicking like nobody's business.
That's where they thrive. That's where they go.
like I'm by a lake in the middle of the woods. I should be finding Squirtles and Bulbasaurs, Caterpies, whatever else. Magikarp. I'd take a Magikarp.
What's a girl got to do to get a fucking Eevee?
So there's not a Pokemon within probably a 50-mile radius of where I was. Like what? Like I have to go downtown to my, local juice shop and find that one Squirtle I'm looking for. We also have not talked about the evolution mechanic. Another mechanic I forgot to mention. This is a long episode, but I don't even give a shit.
You guys, we're just trying to give you the full picture. And
so
it's going to be longer than normal, but as you can tell, we have a lot to say on the topic.
So Pokemon evolve. Bulbasaur, for instance, becomes Ivysaur, which becomes Venusaur, to become their final evolution. And you do that in the game by battling other Pokemon, earning experience to eventually get to whatever the cap is for the Pokemon, which will then evolve. And then once you're at the highest point, you just keep leveling up and becoming more powerful as the highest evolution. But because they took out the core gameplay of Pokemon, they had to figure out how the fuck you're going to evolve your Pokemon. And they're like, why don't we make these things called Bulbasaur candies that are unique to literally every single Pokemon? And you have to feed it those candies in order to evolve it. Which is just, whoever thought of that should be absolutely killed.
I was going to say fired, but killed is better. I mean, for those who watched the anime and played the Game Boy, played the Nintendo,
whatever.
Everything, you're in this shitty mobile app going to suddenly create Pokemon candy?
So, and the funny thing is you cannot buy individual Pokemon candy for Pokemon, at least that I've discovered. I've tried. The only way to get more Pokemon candy for the respective Pokemon that they correspond to is to catch more of the same Pokemon. So, like, if I want to evolve my Caterpie into a Metapod, yes, then I have to catch a bunch of Caterpies, right? So I get 50 Caterpie candies, which I then use to evolve it. You get about 3 every single catch.
It makes no sense.
So you catch 50 and then it evolves. You manually evolve it. You have to hit a button. And then once it is evolved, you need to continue catching Caterpies to get enough Caterpie candy to evolve the Metapod to make it a Butterfree. Like, it's ludicrous. It does not... I cannot stress the Pokemon candy failure.
And there's... What's the other thing that they made up?
Stardust.
Okay.
So, hold on. Let me explain it. Can I explain it first before you go off?
Sure. You explain it. I'll just talk directly to Nintendo.
So there is a Stardust thing in the games, which I believe increases XP. I don't remember what it is. There is a thing called Stardust in the game.
Is there XP in Pokemon Go?
Yeah, but only for your own player, not for your Pokemon.
Okay. Which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right.
But Stardust is a thing that you get when you catch other Pokemon. And it tells you how much you get, and it's like measured in usually like hundreds is kind of the lowest increment. And you get a whole bunch of it, and then you can power up your Pokemon, which increases its CP, which is the core number that is attached to your Pokemon, that makes it more powerful. So like Pokemon with higher, like you could have a low Squirtle and then power it up a whole bunch of times that uses one Squirtle candy and like increasing amounts of Stardust to make it a more powerful Squirtle. And it does carry over when you evolve it, and there's a less high CP cap each time you level it up, but it's ridiculous. It doesn't make, like, they've taken the process of gaining XP and like turned it into this.
I'm just gonna speak directly to Nintendo for this next
Please
portion.
do.
You guys made a great Game Boy game.
And subsequent great games.
I'm going to speak to, I've played a lot of different Game Boy games. I've played a lot of different Pokemon games. Mm-hmm. But I really played that Game Boy Color game.
Which one? Pokemon Red or Blue?
I don't remember.
Or
I
Yellow?
think we had both. I think we had Red and Blue and Yellow.
I feel like Kat got Red and you got Blue.
Opposite. I
okay,
think
whatever.
She got Blue. I got Red.
There's no green.
But
so
I think we swapped it. you know,
Yeah,
we'd,
you
like,
trade or play each other's
we'd
games.
play each other's games, and so they kind of blend together for me. Nintendo. Why don't you guys just pop that in? Find a Game Boy, get one on eBay. I'm sure they're like $20.
Way more expensive than that. But the point stands is like, literally, I think in November, correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong, a few months ago, they literally just re-released the original 3 American release Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Right.
They just put them on the Nintendo DS. They didn't upgrade them. They didn't do anything. The only thing they changed is the ability to trade over the internet as opposed to having to need a cable. Like, why didn't you just port it to iOS? I will play Pokemon Red for literally 10,000 hours on my phone. I would have paid tens of dollars.
You don't need to upgrade the graphics. I do not need the Pokemon to be via my camera draining my battery in my actual reality, which is not my actual reality because you made me leave my apartment where I would like to play Pokemon in peace. Nintendo, all I'm saying to you, go back to the basics. We don't need the Stardust.
We don't need the candies for each Pokemon.
We do not need any candies, actually.
The rare candies is good because it levels it up.
We just need the basics. We need not to have to leave.
We want to be able to battle and trade our Pokemon the way that Pokemon has always been marketed to us, including in the anime.
Why not socialize with other nerds?
Have the ability to chat with your fellow faction members.
Why? I mean,
there's
guys.
like so many things that they could have done to fix this and not make it a total train wreck.
Okay, and in fairness, it is the beginning. And one of the beauties of like iOS and apps in general is updates.
They have said publicly recently that they will introduce a trading mechanic eventually, which God knows when that will arrive, but I'm sure it will not function.
2040 at this rate.
The point is that we are not super big fans of Pokemon Go. I'm going to continue to play it because it does itch the Pokemon need in my life a little bit until Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out in whenever at the end of this year. I don't hate it, but like I really fucking hate it.
Of course. I mean, as any...
Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense.
My biggest thing... I have a lot of apps. We all have a lot of apps.
Everyone does.
And some are amazing. Like, I love Snapchat. I love Instagram. A lot of apps I use on a daily basis regularly. Games. It does not matter what the app is. If I have an app, no matter what its function, I do not want it to glitch and quit on me while I'm using it.
Yeah, more than it functions.
So let's start there.
Yeah, just patch that right up.
You know, let's squash some bugs. Let's get it so gameplay is uninterrupted by me having to re-sign in. Like maybe just a remember me box so I can check it so I don't have to re-enter my information every time you guys kick me off.
Yep.
Start there.
It's just...
It's
sorry,
a debacle.
guys. We don't want to bum everyone out with how shitty Pokemon Go is, but if you've played it, you know how bad it is. We don't need to tell you.
It's a debacle. And but I do have hope. I have hope in the fact that the updates could come and it could be so much better. It could be something we all really enjoy instead of get extremely frustrated by.
Hopefully.
Presso, what's your rating?
Okay, so fuck. I would give it I'm going to give it a D- for execution.
I almost give it a D-. I get it.
A D- for execution seems like almost generous, but I don't want to give it an F because that's like a total, like if it didn't function, I would give it an F, but it does some of the things that it promises. In terms of like core concepts, ideas, a C- is honestly generous because like that guy in the meeting that was like, let's take out everything fun, and then everyone took him seriously, like fucked everyone on the planet over. So C- for idea, D- for execution. So now that you know my rating, Mare, what would you give it?
I think your rating is extremely fair.
Okay.
I'd just like to highlight the fact that I think where it really fails for me, other than just being an unworkable, pretty much non-functional application,
Right.
is the fact that you have to leave your apartment.
Mare really does not like to
I
leave.
hate it.
Okay.
To me, it's antithetical to what Pokemon is. Pokemon is about being alone by yourself, just hanging out, sitting in your room.
occasionally
it's not about
maybe trading with your friends.
who
but-
are also into Pokemon. It's not about walking around your city, showing off what a nerd you are by flicking your screen for half an hour to catch a Pidgey.
Okay, I think that about wraps up our episode on Pokemon Go. We are sorry because we wanted it to be good. We really, when it came out, we were like, we're going to do a review. It'll be great. But fuck, is it bad?
It's bad.
Okay, so, Mare, where can they find us if they want to listen to, say, our prologue?
You guys, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, you check it out.
You're missing out.
www.nerdchatpodcast.com.
It's really fun.
We're also on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Nerd Chat Podcast.
Yep.
Go to our website. You can purchase merchandise, learn more about us,
Leave us suggestions for future topics.
and if you do one thing, please tell us how much you hate Pokemon Go.
Yeah, leave it in the comments.
Because there's no way to interact with other Pokemon Go users in the app, so
So
you're
might
going to
as-
have to reach out and tell us.
And we would absolutely love for you guys to rate and subscribe the podcast. Literally every single rating is something that I read, and it really, really
We both
helps us.
do.
Yeah, it helps us get noticed, and it really gets us going. And subscribing does the exact same thing. We're really, really appreciative to all the people that have been supporting us since our first episode came out. And we just want to keep growing that audience because we think we have a lot of fun things to talk about, and we want you nerds to be talking to us too.
So, yeah, guys, it was fun talking about this, ranting about this. Join us next week when we chat some more.
As always, I'm Presley.
I'm Meredith.
Bye,
Bye, nerds.